Good morning. This is Commissioner French convening the regularly scheduled business meeting of the Kansas Corporation Commission for this Thursday, September 2nd. It is 10 a.m. Joined by my colleagues, Commissioner Susan Duffy and Commissioner Dwight Keene. On today's agenda, we have 33 consent agenda items and 2 noticed items, and I do anticipate moving to enter into an executive session at the end of today's meeting. With that, we will turn to our consent agenda and the 33 items on that today. Commissioners, you've had the opportunity to review the items on the consent agenda, and let me ask at this time whether you have any questions or comments. I will begin with Commissioner Keene.
Yes, good morning, Chair French. No questions. I would simply say I intend to vote to approve the consent agenda with the exception of 2 recusals. One is item 16, which is docket number 22-CONS-3115-CMSC. And the other is item number 21, which is docket number 21-MDAP-440-TAR. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Duffy, any questions or comments about the consent agenda items?
Good morning, Chair French. I have no questions or comments. I move approval of the consent agenda, noting the recusal by Commissioner Keene of items 16 and 21.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda, noting Commissioner Keene's recusals on items 16 and 21. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, those in favor, please vote aye.
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 Aye. The consent agenda is approved. We now move to our noticed items. Our first noticed item is in docket number 22 TRAM 104 PEN, and this is a proposed penalty order in that docket. I understand we may have a request to pull that item for further consideration. Is that correct, Hassan?
That's what I've been told. There's
Okay.
Yeah.
We will pass over that item and we will move to our second noticed item. That is in docket number 22 TRAM 106 PEN, and this is another proposed penalty order. And for this item, our presenter is again Mr. Hassan Latif.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
The penalty order before you is the result of an investigation of Michael's Trucking, a common carrier that hauls grain, feed, and hay and other farm products operating out of Larned, Kansas. The driver who operates this carrier was terminated by another carrier we issued a penalty to recently, Winans Oil. Michael Haney was the driver involved in a DOT accident where, according to the inspection report, he admitted to the trooper that he was high on methamphetamines. Methamphetamines were found in his truck and he illegally possessed a firearm. He was terminated that day by Winans Oil, but they did not require him to get tested by a DOT substance abuse professional after the accident, which is a test that would have attached to his driving profile. He was tested by law enforcement in a separate test. His criminal case related to that accident and the arrest has been continued several times now and is pending in county court in that jurisdiction. The Transportation Division, based on this information and other things we found during the compliance review, took action on this issue on this carrier on Friday, issuing an impound letter for any vehicles being operated by Michael's Trucking LLC, and that was pursuant to KSA 66.1,129A, which allows the Director of Transportation to authorize the impound of any of a carrier's vehicles in certain situations. In this case, Director Haney authorized the impound of Michael's Trucking's vehicles for operating without first obtaining commission authority to operate. And that is one of the listed reasons that in the statute that we can authorize the impound of vehicles from a carrier. At this time, no vehicles have been impounded, but the Highway Patrol is aware of the impound letter. And if they find this carrier operating, they will contact us about moving forward with impounding the vehicles if they do not have operating authority by that time. During our investigation of the carrier, our special investigators Penny Fryback and Erica Pargas noted several violations that they found, and this order before you assesses penalties for 11 of those violations, resulting in $5,700 in total penalties. The violations included a $2,000 violation for falsifying records of duty status, a $500 violation for failure to keep record of duty status, a $500 violation for failure to obtain KCC for hire authority to operate, as well as a $750 violation for failure to maintain required records of vehicle inspection, maintenance, and repair. The carrier also had other violations for lack of permits for fuel tags and failure to maintain required documents in the driver qualification files, among other things. But staff believes that the $5,700 in penalties in this penalty order is the proper course of action to ensure compliance with the applicable motor carrier rules and regulations. And with that, staff recommends approval of this order. I and staff members are available to answer questions you have.
Thank you, Mr. Latif, for that comprehensive description. I will turn at this point to the commissioners to see if they have any questions on this item. I will begin with Commissioner Keen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No questions, just a brief comment. I do believe that the penalty in this particular instance is appropriate. More to the point, however, I want to again thank and commend the staff of the Transportation Division for its obvious professionalism and thoroughness in this particular matter. The violations here are serious, and I believe the penalty recognizes those things. And again, thanks to our staff for its outstanding work.
Thank you, Commissioner Keen. Commissioner Duffy, any questions or comments on this order?
I have a question. So a letter of impoundment has been sent to the company, but we have not acted on that. One, what will be the trigger for that? And two, what does that really mean? Does that mean that we go and pick up the trucks, the trailers, what?
Generally, when the impoundment letters are usually issued after we've found them to be operating in commerce. So they'll be stopped for an inspection by Highway Patrol, and the patrol will determine that, this carrier is operating with, there's an active out of service order on them, or they, in this case, they don't have authority to operate. And so then they will contact us and request an impound letter. In this case, because of the severe nature of the violations, and because we know that they are currently operating without authority from the KCC, we've proactively put out an impound letter so that when they are stopped by the Highway Patrol, they will contact us about moving forward with impound. And usually that means that the vehicles are impounded, but the truck and the trailer are impounded at whatever the Highway Patrol in that area's tow lot is that they use, and they are kept there until the violations are corrected. In this case, we'll have to determine when they apply for authority, or how we proceed at that point, and whether or not at what point we release the impounded vehicles. I don't know if Gary or Mike want to add anything to that.
Yeah, it's like you pretty much covered that, Hassan.
Okay.
Thank you. I agree with Commissioner Keen's comments. These are serious violations warranting the fine. I find this extremely as disappointing, and the safety of Kansans on the highway, sharing the highway with this entity, definitely their safety is compromised. So thanks, staff, for the good work. And with that, I move adoption of this order.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the described order in this docket. Is there any further discussion on that motion? Hearing none, those in favor, please vote aye.
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 Aye. The order is approved. Thank you, Hassan.
Thank you.
At this time, we've reached the conclusion of our noticed items on today's agenda, and I will move the commission enter into an executive session not to exceed 20 minutes to discuss attorney-client privileged matters pursuant to KSA 75-4319B2 for consultation with an attorney to obtain legal advice. And I further move that the following be included in the meeting: General Counsel Brian Fedotin, Mr. Philip Gregson, and Mr. Ryan Hoffman, Director of the Conservation Division.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to enter into the described executive session. Those in favor, please vote aye.
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 Aye. We will now enter executive session for 20 minutes, reconvening in the first floor here, or reconvening here at 10:30. Okay, we are returning from executive session at this time. And at this time, I will move that we extend the executive session an additional 10 minutes, which would allow us to reconvene here at 10:40.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second to extend the executive session. Those in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are back in executive session. And Michelle, can you send, oh, I guess if you click on more, Commissioner Duffy, you can join the breakout room.
More. All right. Michelle, where is more?
Should be at the bottom and or wherever your Zoom bar is, and it's usually all the way to the right.
No, I see reactions, apps, but I don't see more. Can you move me, Michelle?
All right, we are returning from executive session where no action was taken. At this time, we have reached the end of our agenda on today's business meeting, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, we have a motion and a second to adjourn the business meeting. Those in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you all.
That was a muted aye. And a muted second. Thank you. Take care.